Like, alright, the non-council races. Krogans and... alright, the non-council races. Krogans and... Krogan Rebellions and Quarians Pilgrimage. I believe, non-council races, we can... Alright, let's learn about more about the Quarians.
Driven from their home system by the Geth nearly 3 centuries ago, most Quarians now live aboard the Migrant Fleet, a flotilla of 50,000 vessels ranging in size from passenger shuttles to mobile space stations.
So the flotilla is
17 million
thousands
Quarians.
of ships.
The
That's
flotilla
amazing.
understandably has scarce resources. Because of this, each Quarian must go on a rite of passage known as the Pilgrimage when they come of age. They leave the fleet and only return once they have found something of value they can bring back to their people. Other species tend to look down on the Quarians for creating the Geth and for the negative impact their fleet has when it enters a system. This has led to many myths and rumors about the Quarians, including the belief that underneath their clothes and breathing masks, they are actually cybernetic creatures, a combination of organic and synthetic parts.
Obviously silly rumors. But man, just think about that. 50,000 ships, home to 17 million Quarians. I mean, you can understand that the resources to keep a race that, like that, that many in of a society living on ships. I mean, that must take a lot of resources. Okay, we've heard all those.
Though now extinct,
all right, Rachni.
The Rachni once threatened every species in Citadel space.
Wow, look at those. So that's what they look like.
2,000 years ago, explorers foolishly opened a mass relay to a previously unknown system.
So that's why they are very careful about opening the relays.
Or since, a species of spacefaring insects guided by a hive mind intelligence. Unfortunately, the Rachni were not peaceful, and the galaxy was plunged into a series of conflicts known as the Rachni Wars. Attempts to negotiate were futile, as it was impossible to make contact with the hive queens that guided the race from beneath the surface of their toxic home world. The emergence of the Krogan ended the Rachni Wars.
Yep, we heard about that.
Bred to survive the harshest environments, the Krogan were able to strike at the queens in their lairs and reclaim conquered council worlds. But when Krogan fleets pressed them back to their homeworld, the Rachni refused to surrender, and the Krogan eradicated them from the galaxy.
Man, just completely caused them to be extinct. Okay, let's read up more on this. After the Rachni War, the quick-breeding Krogan expanded the expense of their neighbors. Warlords leveraged their veteran soldiers to seize living space, while the council races were still grateful. Over centuries, the Krogan conquered world after world. There was always just one more needed. When the council finally demanded withdrawal from the Asari colony of Lucia, Krogan overlord Krennic stormed off the citadels, daring the council to take their worlds back. But the council had taken precautions. The finest STG operators and the Asari huntresses had been drafted into a covert observation force, the Office of Special Tactics and Reconnaissance. The Spectres opened the war with crippling strategic strikes. Krogan planets went dark as computer viruses flooded the extranet, sabotaged antimatter refineries, disappeared in blue-white annihilation. Headquarters stations shattered into orbit-clogging debris, rammed by pre-placed suicide freighters. Still, this only delayed the inevitable. The war would have been lost if not for first contact with the Turians, who responded to Krogan threats with a prompt declaration of war. Being on the far side of Krogan space from the Council, the Turians advanced rapidly into the lightly defended Krogan rear areas. The Krogan responded by dropping space stations and asteroids onto Turian colonies. Wow! They dropped entire stations and asteroids? Oh my gosh. 3 worlds were rendered completely uninhabitable. Yeah, I'm sure. This was precisely the wrong approach to take with the Turians. Each is first and foremost a public servant, willing to risk his life to protect his comrades. Rather than increasing public war weariness, Krogan tactics stiffened Turian resolve. The arrival of Turian Task Force saved many worlds from the warlords' marauding fleets, but it took development of the Genophage bioweapon to end the war. There were decades of unrest afterwards. Rogue warlords and holdout groups of insurgents refused to surrender, or disappeared into the frontier systems to become pirates. And I'm sure that later on, we'll be able to talk to Rex about these things, although he may not be too chummy to talk about them, because it may be a sore subject. The Quarian's Pilgrimage. When Quarians of the Migrant Fleet reach young adulthood, they must leave their birth ship to find a new crew to accept them as permanent residents. To prove themselves, they must recover something of value. This is offered to their prospective captain, as proof that they will not be a mere burden on the shoestring resources of the ship. This process is called the pilgrimage. Stripped of ritual, the pilgrimage is merely an attempt to maintain genetic diversity within the small, relatively isolated population bases that make up the migrant fleet. If the young stayed and married within their birth vessel, the risk of inbreeding would increase sharply. Quarians are surgically fitted with their various immunity-boosting implants in preparation for leaving on pilgrimage. Having grown up within the sterile, controlled environments of the migrant fleet ships, Quarians have virtually no natural immune system. Wow, that's tough. It's like, so that makes it understandable why they would wear those suits and those masks. Okay, let's see. Next, let's see, where exactly am I on the map here? Oh, the lounge is over there, and the financial district is over here. I gotta go see the consort as well to let her know that that everything's okay with the general and with the diplomat. But first, let's go over here to the bar so we can find out why they're holding sheriff's wife's body and not returning it to him for him to give her a cremation funeral. See if we can find out if it's a legitimate reason or if it's not that reasonable to not return it to her. Okay, and I believe there's a keeper over here. Go ahead and scan this. Okay, now let's head over here to the bar. By the way, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's hear what Palin has to say.
So they finally did it. I knew one of your kind would make Spectre one day. I only hope you're better than the one they're sending you after.
I'm gonna strive.
I'll do everything I can to stop Saren.
That's what worries me. Was there
Not
something
like that,
you want?
Palin. Not like that.
I'll be going now.
Goodbye, Commander.
Oh, Palin, you worry too much. Alright. Yeah, here's the guy I gotta talk to. Before I do, there's a keeper over here. Let's go ahead and scan it. Okay. Okay. Alright.
My goodness, you're
Let's
Commander
talk to him.
Shepard. Your activities made for quite a briefing in the diplomatic corps. Is there something I can do to assist you?
I'm here for Samesh.
Yeah. A man named Samesh Bhatia is having some trouble claiming his wife's body.
Ah, Mr. Bhatia. A good man in an understandably frustrating position. I wish I could help him.
And why
Serviceman
can't
Nirali
you?
Bhatia died on Eden Prime, as Mr. Bhatia no doubt told you. Her wounds are inconsistent with any type of weapon damage we've seen before. That is why her body is being held.
Wait, what? I don't understand. What does that mean? Is she toxic?
You think her body might be dangerous or contaminated?
No, Commander. Nirali Bhatia is not dangerous. Her body is in fact extremely valuable to the Alliance. The tests we're
Please
conducting may
clarify.
lead to better defenses against Geth attacks. Respectfully, Serviceman Bhatia may save more lives in death than she did in life.
Really? Okay, please give me more information, pal. First of all, aren't there any other bodies you could do this on?
You've got to have a lot of bodies. Can't you release one?
Very few bodies had this new type of weapon damage, and very few were in good enough condition to study. Beyond that, Commander, we need as many bodies as we can to get a reasonable sample size.
Okay. How long would this take?
How long do you think the research is going to take?
This is a long-term study. I wouldn't expect the
Oh,
bodies to be
boy.
released for a year or longer.
Oh, man. Okay, what about the results?
When will this research result in actual new technology?
If we're lucky, We'll actually realize usable technology from this study in a few years.
Well, if it could possibly save more lives, perhaps that's what she would want. That even in death, perhaps the research they could do on the wounds from her body could actually help save more lives. I'll pass this on to Samesh. I hope he understands.
I'll tell Mr. Bhatia about this. It might make it easier for him to understand.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Please let me know if you have any other questions.
All right, let's go. Let's go let Samesh know. And hopefully, because Ash is with me, maybe she can help me out here since she was a friend of hers.
Hello, Commander. Has any progress been made with Mr. Bosker? Will he return my wife's body?
There's a problem.
It's not as simple as I'd hoped. The military needs your wife's body for important tests.
Tests? They're holding my wife's body for tests? My wife served the Alliance faithfully. She gave her life for humanity. And this is how they repay her.
This is important, Samesh.
Mr. Bhatia, your wife died defending humanity. We still need her help.
What right does the military have to hold her body? She's already given her life.
She did it willingly.
She died a hero, Mr. Bhatia. And now she has a chance to save even more lives.
Which is what she would want, I would think.
It doesn't matter. She's dead.
Yes, she is, Mr. Bhatia. She died fighting for what she believed in. She sacrificed her life to keep you safe. I think she'd want to make the most of that sacrifice.
You're right, Miss Williams.
Thanks, Ash.
She would not flinch from her duty. Let them run their tests. Let my wife save lives so that others are spared the loss I feel today. Goodbye.
Poor man.
Thank you for finding me answers.
Of course. Your heart just goes out to him. Poor man. No one should ever have to go through what he's going through.